welcome to this episode of Startup Showdown, our very first episode for the 2022 season. People are still trickling in, but you know me, we keep this show on a super tight schedule, so we are going to get things started today. For those of you who are joining us for the very first time, I'm Jasmine Hoffman. I am your ever-present host of Startup Showdown, joining you from Jersey City today in our beautiful studio in Fulcrum Digital's office. It's very nice to be here with all of you today for our very first episode of this 2022 season of Startup Showdown, our third season of the year in this venture that we have been co-presenting with Tech Council Ventures. More on them in just a second, but before we get started, we have three incredible startups that are here with us today that are going to be pitching on their products exploring the metaverse. So, you know the drill. Each startup gets 5 minutes. After those 5 minutes, I want to see those questions in the Q&A, so please make sure you drop them in the Q&A in the chat. I would love for everyone to chime in. Let me know how you're doing today, where you're joining us from, what you think the metaverse means, and more. So stay tuned. Make sure you're active in that chat. I love to hear from everybody, and it's great to see everybody here. I see some newcomers and some returnees, so love that. This episode is being recorded. It will be available on our Startup Showdown website after the fact in case you want to catch up on anything. Without any further ado, I'm going to get into our experts for the day and let them introduce themselves, starting with Will Burns, who is a newcomer to the Tech United community. Will, thank you so much for joining us today. Could you tell a little bit about yourself to our community here?
Absolutely. My name is Will Burns. I used to be the vice chair for the IEEE Virtual Worlds standard group, and I helped define the modern metaverse for the industry. I have published research in ACM on the past, present, and future of virtual worlds and the metaverse. Currently, I am a product manager for Superworld.
Excellent. We're thrilled to have you here, Will. Thanks so much for taking time out of your day to join us. Rajesh, always a friendly face. Love to see you. Loving the glasses today. Say hi to the audience. What do you have going on?
Of course, good to be here. Thank you for having me, Jasmine, and good to meet all the friends on this channel right now. I'm Rajesh Sinha. I'm a founder and chairman of Fulcrum Digital, the company which is transforming and delivering experiences to consumers in the field of food technology, payment industry, insurance, and consumer products. Very, very excited to be here. Always like to learn innovative technologies. I'm personally passionate about delivering experience, and metaverse and new things what you guys are going to offer to this world is an experience technology. To me, experience deliver intelligence, experience all lead to happiness, and happiness is a path for purpose. So you guys are going to make the world a better place to live and work. So very excited to be here.
Love that. Well, Mark, you're going to have to follow that very excellent introduction.
Exactly.
To have you here, but floor is all yours.
Thank you, Jasmine. Thank you so much. Delighted to be here. Delighted to be working with you again on this Startup Showdown. I am a partner with Tech Council Ventures. We're a New Jersey-based early stage investor. We prefer to invest in the mid-Atlantic, and we're pretty technology agnostic as to how we invest. Personally, my background, electrical engineer turned entrepreneur, turned venture capitalist, and delighted to be on the panel. And by the way, I probably know the least about the metaverse, so I'm looking to learn from Will and from Rajesh and our three entrepreneurs today. So thanks for having me, Jasmine, and welcome everyone.
Excellent. Well, it's great to have all of you. For those of you that just joined a few minutes late, again, please make sure as you're listening to these companies' pitches, you drop your questions for them in the Q&A, and I'll be moderating those. And of course, if you have other questions or ideas about the metaverse, feel free to drop those in the chat. Before we get into our first pitch of the day, which is Agora World, it's worth taking a second to remind everybody that exploring the metaverse is sort of like talking about the internet in the 70s. There are building blocks, a lot is evolving, a lot is changing, it's constantly being built and shifted, and the definition is really an active thing, right? So we are looking for ways that we can see what's possible in the metaverse, what's coming up next, how, like Rajesh said, is this gonna make our lives better and happier? So Ideas welcome, no judgment-free zone. If you don't know what the metaverse is, or this is you're a true expert, we're excited to hear your questions and comments. We are going to have Ethan pitch first, and then Nelly with Simply Flows, and then Neil closing out our lineup with Solid. So Nelly and Neil are going to be joining us back on screen when it's their time to pitch, but we are going to start things off with Ethan. Ethan, you've got 5 minutes to share with us what you are doing.
Yeah, thank you again for having me today. Good morning, everyone. Well, I guess good afternoon. I'm actually on the West Coast right now, so it's morning for me here. But when am I good to start? Anytime? Just want to make sure.
You're good to go now. I'll start my timer.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Ethan Berg. I'm the founder and CEO of Agora World, and we are democratizing the metaverse. So for those that don't know what the metaverse is, Mark, the future of internet experiences, right? They're immersive, they're social, and they're customizable. It's really just following the trend of, as you see at the bottom here, going from text all the way to recreating the physical world within digital. And the problem with today's metaverse is there's a few problems. So there's a high VR, AR focus. Most people still don't have this technology. It's very difficult to build inside of these worlds. We know that a high majority of people don't know how to code, let alone do 3D development. And it can be extremely resource intensive if you try to go and build your own platform and experience from scratch. So what we've done is we've created the Wix for 3D. It is accessible on your everyday devices, soon platform agnostic. It is fully no code. So I don't know how to code. You don't need to know how to code to build your experience. And it's extremely affordable with free plans to start building today. So essentially we provide the tools, the templates, and the social layer to allow you to build. So we have a marketplace where you can find a template or theme, just like a website theme. You're also able to upload your own content, and then you add your custom content, media, videos, links, and you're able to launch it in about 5 minutes to be able to experience it with other people pretty quickly. Our platform in itself, as I said, we're right in the middle here. We're offering a lot of these tools to make it simple for these people that don't know how to do development. So we have Sandbox, we have a plugin architecture, a marketplace to buy certain assets from the creators, and we allow you to deploy it to any device, including real-time social interaction, interoperability, an avatar system, and more in under 10 minutes. So we've already done a ton of stuff. We've hosted holiday events, networking events, art galleries, educational spaces. We're creating a restaurant with Pat's Steaks right now. We're working with Staten Island's government. And ultimately, we've spent no money at all. All of this is referral based. We are working with very high level clients. We're talking to a variety of large organizations as well, and are continuing to really push the barriers of what we're able to accomplish with our platform. The way that we're going to the market is by partnering with digital marketing, web agencies, and design agencies to act as affiliate sellers, because they already have the trust of a lot of these organizations from a technical standpoint. So we're working with them in order to help their clients offer events, educational opportunities, as well as business opportunities to extend their reach and create an online community where you can meet in a space. We make money through a subscription package, so it's all licensing. Again, I mean, we've built the foundation to power your experience, and you license that directly from us in order to reap these benefits. But we also offer custom development, transaction fees on our marketplace, plugin architecture, as well as microtransactions. Our team is pretty stacked, honestly. I mean, you've got myself as the CEO. My co-founder is an unbelievable developer. He's written books on the subject. He teaches courses on the subject. We have a full-time community director from Princeton Blockchain, senior developer and Unity developer with over 25 years of collective experience in development. So we're really starting to push the ends. And we're really focused on moving towards our public beta launch this summer. So we're working hard to get towards a web-based creation, open community offerings so the community can actually build on top of what we've done, and really just extending the offerings into the rest of the metaverse and other platforms as well. Right now, we're in the process of raising $1.5 million in order to extend our runway and really start to develop and increase the size of our community in an effort to get to an acquisition price of over $1 billion, which should be about average of 40 times gross revenue within the next 5 years. That would be it about us. Sorry, I rushed that. I was afraid of the 5 minutes, but thank you for having me.
It's good to fear the 5 minutes. It's a very hard 5 minutes. And that was great. You didn't rush through, and I'm sure you can go back and highlight a slide or two if we need. I'm going to kick things off with Rajesh. What are you thinking here? And Ethan, you can stop sharing your screen whenever you'd like.
I can, if you prefer me to leave it so I can go back, that's also okay.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's fine.
Ethan, congratulations. Good initiative, good drive, but I'll shoot you some rapid fire question. Hope you don't mind and feel free to answer. So glad to know you have a clear exit strategy. So love that. What would you do with this funding? Question number one, right?
Yeah, so with the funding, the goal is honestly, it's mainly for our team. You know, we just hired 3 new people to our team. So when it comes to making sure that we can pay our team, it's hard to keep really great talent on board in today's market, especially. So we want to have enough funding so that there's no concern on their end and they feel extremely comfortable with their living situation. And then the rest of it is going directly towards building our community, hence the promotion side of things. We really want to start getting involved.
Great. And what's the revenue model, year 1, year 2, year 3? How is it getting tracked?
How is our revenue growing, or?
Yeah, what do you target to make in year 1 total revenue?
Well, I mean, yeah, so we've already tripled our revenue of last year so far this year in the first 6 weeks. We're estimating anywhere from 500 to 700,000 in revenue this year, probably about the goal is to go 10 times every year, if you want me to be completely transparent.
Okay, so now when I saw your presentation, I saw that you have the right platform to roll out the experience layer. But experience layer does not take too far. Every business is unique. They require rules engine, is unique to their business process. I did not see that rules engine and business process, which is unique to different people. How is that going to be plugged in here?
Yeah, so the uniqueness, that honestly, that comes back to this area. So the way that we built our platform is it's completely open. Our sandbox tools are, the community can add any asset, any interactable component that they wish to our platform to offer to the rest of the community. Custom code is also fully possible. Our plugin architecture, we're creating an open API so that you can integrate your virtual world with the rest of your channels. So your Shopify, your Amazon, Stripe, CRM, Google Analytics, you name it, it can be done and re-released on an app store, similar to Shopify's app store, I guess, so that the rest of our community can reap the benefits of a lot of these integrations. So we're knowing that everyone that's come to us has a different idea, and we really want to make sure that they have the ability to create that vision that they have in mind.
Okay, I think we have a limited time for me. So I have a question for data, but I'll come back once others have asked the questions. Yeah. You're on mute, Jasmine.
What was that?
Yeah, now you're good. Yeah.
Oh, I was going to just pass things over to Will, see what he thinks.
Yeah, sure. So Ethan, how are you looking to do the scaling for concurrency? I see that you're topping out about 150 per that. So I'm assuming you're doing sharding methodology, correct?
Yeah.
So if I were to say I want to do a Aerosmith concert, would that kill your system, or could you scale it up in a cost-effective manner?
Yeah, so we can. Right now, I think we can host about 25,000 concurrent users, but we're about a month and a half away from scaling that to 1 million. So we're definitely in the process of making sure this can scale effectively. In terms of the shards, for those that don't know what a shard is, it's like you split a large group of people into different smaller groups so that it's more efficient and it works well. Right now, our limit is 50 people per lobby, per instance, per shard, but we're about a year away from having that up to 300. And we're planning on doing app streaming so that our web-based version will be similar to our downloadable version rather than the current limitations that web-based provides.
Okay, so is this WebGL or is this actually a custom client with Unity or something?
We built this fully on top of Unity. So our SDK is going to be released on their store. And it's built on top of Unity, platform agnostic in the future. And then we're looking more at offering a app streaming methodology first, and then doing a light version WebGL later this year.
That's all I've got to ask for the moment.
Awesome. Thank you, Will. Can you all hear me okay? I'm getting used to the studio and I just switched over my mic.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, this is much better. Much better.
Oh, fabulous. You know, you can't start the year off without a couple bugs, can you? Well, thank you, Peter, for sharing that with me. Mark, what are your thoughts? Learning a lot here, huh?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Ethan, terrific presentation. Really well done. Real quickly, how many people on your team right now?
There are 6 of us total.
And how long have you been building this?
I've been building this since my sophomore year at Temple University. So about 3.5 years, 3 years.
Fabulous. So tell me a little bit about the target market for this, but both an initial target market and then sort of a longer term view, and then weave into that some about your sales model. I did hear direct sales, I heard channel, but talk about market and sales.
Yeah, so I mean, the main way we've been getting people so far is just referral and word of mouth. Most people have been coming to our platform, they love it, and they share it with somebody else in their network. So we've realized that there's a really big area of affiliate sellers where, in order to build a website, a majority of businesses aren't building it themselves. So we would rather leverage that network and work with those already creating these online digital experiences because they have the trust, they have the know-how, and offer them a new opportunity to bring in extra revenue and offer a new stream of business for their own clients. We found that events, education, and business is kind of the 3 verticals that have been most interested, but obviously we are in the process of weeding that down. I'd say we're more in the exploratory phase at the moment. I mean, there's a lot of unbelievable opportunities out there, and it's not that we're not saying no, but we're definitely intrigued by a lot of them, and we're trying to see what sticks the most.
Okay, that makes sense to me. And you mentioned a couple different things in terms of revenue streams, including consulting and so on. What are you thinking your long-term business model looks like?
Subscription. Honestly, we want to license our platform out, like the powering part. So the same way you pay a fee to host your website with Weebly, with Wix, with WordPress, we're looking at ourselves as a similar methodology for hosting and powering your 3D experience and deploying it to where you need to deploy it. And then on top of that, I'd say transaction fees will probably be the #1 area where we're able to bring in revenue based on building a asset marketplace and allowing people to create their own worlds and selling templates and themes the same way you buy a website theme today.
Okay. And how much money have you raised to date?
We've raised $200,000. I've also put my life savings into this company.
Okay, I understand that, plus a little sweat equity. It sounds like several years of it. So that's fabulous. Tell me about competition.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different competitors out there. Superworld, I guess you could consider as one of them. Big fan, by the way, Will. But I would say that on the market, it's definitely becoming it's the hype term right now, right? So there's definitely new competition coming out every other day. I think that one of the areas we're differentiating ourselves is by opening it up and letting people build their own platforms on top of ours. So the #1 thing we found is, hey, I might not want to buy land in another world, or, I want to have my own platform. I don't want it to be a page on someone else's website. I want it on my website. So we're white labeling it and we're offering it out to let people create their own applications, their own white labeled platforms that we're powering ultimately, and they can re-release to their community so that they have their own channel and area to intrigue people.
Terrific. Yeah, really important to focus on some differentiation because I think there's going to be a ton of competition.
Yep.
So one last thing, the $1.5 million you're raising right now, and that's going to, I think Rajesh asked this, but I don't know if I heard the answer. What do you think in the use is R&D, tech, promotion? Okay, how long does that last you before you raise money again?
24 months. And the main reason why we're looking at such a big runway is purely because I want our team to focus on building the best platform out there, the highest value. And I want myself to focus on building the best community out there and connecting with those that really love what we do. And I feel like being in the process of raising every 8 months is not beneficial to us really ultimately achieving our mission of democratizing the creation part of the metaverse. And therefore we're looking to really extend that.
Yeah, you may need to raise more, even in the short term. I think you're going to have to spend more in order to really build it out and compete. That's my guess. Just $1.5 million over 24 months sounds light to me. But enough. Let's let Jasmine take this back over here and move it along. Thank you very much. Nice job, Ethan.
Thank you.
Yeah, great work, Ethan. How much time, Jasmine, we have left in Ethan's
You have 2 minutes. So if you want to ask that data question, I'll give it to you.
So, which sector of your business, where do you expect maximum chunk of user base is going to come to you? Because in your website, you list a different sector, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of sectors. As I said, I think the number one will be education, personally. I mean, we're running a class with Temple University right now on our platform. We're talking to UCLA, USC's XR departments. We're about to sign the University of Pennsylvania to utilize it, as well as Pennsylvania State University. And I kind of view what we're doing, because of the no code portion, as an opportunity to release it similar to the way Adobe is offered or Microsoft Word is offered to every single student and faculty member to do as they wish. So I would love for our platform to be able to be adopted by the students and faculty to create art galleries, learning experiments, training simulations, classrooms. I mean, you name it, it can be created. So I think empowering students would be a phenomenal area, because they'll take it into the business world with them, and they'll know how to build using our frameworks.
So you talked about your platform, and every platform grows with data and the strategy to monetize the data. So what's your data? What's your monetization story?
I'll be completely honest. We do not collect individual data. That's probably my number one, from my own standpoint. I don't believe in collecting individual data. So we only collect anonymized or aggregate data based on the way that people act within the space. In terms of monetization, I don't necessarily have a route for monetizing our data. I think we're really collecting it more so we have an understanding internally of areas that can continue to improve, as well as for our customers to know how their community is using their spaces and interacting with their world more than anything else. But I would say we don't necessarily have a plan to monetize on the data at the moment.
So data has two parts, right? One is the consumer data, and I was not referring to consumer data. I was referring to the data which people are going to use your platform, the data for the target market. You'll be monetizing it internally. So any format of data which you keep in your company, unless until you leverage that, it's just putting the platform does not help. You have to have analytics behind it. So have you thought through your analytics engineering to grow your business?
Yeah, we actually just... Yeah, and we just finished our analytics dashboard that we actually launched yesterday, funny enough. So that's one of the areas that we're just starting to really explore. I appreciate the insight on that.
All right, great. Thank you.
All right. Nellie's going to be coming up in just a second. So Will, the hand is up. What's going on? I knew something would pique your interest.
Yes, Ethan. So we're talking about the data and monetization here. We were just talking about the personal data, but I want to talk about the asset data. You said earlier that you're looking on a marketplace. So could you go into how the users could actually do that? Are they making money themselves through this platform? Are you taking a cut? And if so, how much? What's the revenue split and ROI on that?
Yeah, so we're not looking at it from the Amazon model of, take 40% of the creator's revenue. We're allowing people to sell it for their own costs. They charge what they wish to charge, and we take a minuscule under 2% fee, similar to like a credit card transaction fee. We sneak it in there and take a very, very small cut, because we believe that the creator deserves to reap the benefits of their creations. And by allowing them to bring more money to home, they would be more likely to continue releasing more and more assets to our marketplace, which then just extends the reach of what's possible using our platform.
Right. So then this marketplace that you're talking about, it's built into the application itself, or is it a separate site that they can go and have inventory or something?
That's something that we're actually in the process of designing. So if you have any thoughts around that, would love to hear it, honestly.
I have lots of thoughts, but this is not the time for that, sir.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again for your time today, guys. I appreciate it a lot.
Thank you, Ethan. Ethan, we're gonna bring you back on at the end of the episode around 12:55 for our closing remarks. Okay, so stay around. We're gonna give Nellie the spotlight though for Simply Flows right now. Thanks for your
Good luck, Nellie.
Nellie, whenever you are ready, these 5 minutes are yours.
Hello, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Beautiful. I'm Nelly Tacheva, the founder and CEO of Simply Flows. I'm super excited to be here and to share with you what we are building. My background is in software engineering, data and leadership, and throughout various industries and various roles, my passion has always been improving efficiency and productivity. And that's what actually prompted me to, motivated me to start Simply Flows with the mission of providing tools and improving people's work, making it easier and more enjoyable. Data from over 13,000 knowledge workers shows that they spend about 60% of their time on work about work. This is almost 1,100 hours or 30 weeks a year for one single knowledge worker. Imagine what you can achieve in 30 weeks. The cost to the business is huge. All the time wasted, the data errors, duplicated work, and the low morale and frustration. Now imagine delegating your busy work to someone who is available 24/7. Meet our virtual assistants in the metaverse. We are pioneering a first ever solution by extending our workflow automation engine into the metaverse. We want to reduce the friction in how people interact with technology and also to provide immersive experience and human-like interaction with technology via gestures, 3D, and voice. The metaverse is projected to reach an $800 billion global market by 2024, according to Bloomberg. The extended reality market, which was 19 billion in 2019, is projected to grow to 1 trillion by 2030. What we witness today is a vast convergence between the physical and the virtual world. The fast digital adoption exacerbated by the pandemic, technical advancements like 3G, gesture-based computing. We believe that the future office is in the metaverse. Think about everything that you need to do to run your business. You need an operations coordinator, customer care specialists, onboarding, training professionals, and so on. Now imagine that you can hire them as virtual assistants in the metaverse. Your customers get the immersive and human-like interaction with your company while you can focus on growing your business and your people. What you see here is Tech United Metaverse, where customers can interact with an office manager for things like signing up, scheduling meetings, getting information, something like a 3D chatbot in this case. We are a B2B and B2E. Here E stands for employees, SaaS model. Our immediate revenue streams are subscriptions, metaverse office rentals, and NFT sales. We project an annual recurring revenue of 13.5 million in year 3. Starting with small businesses in the US, less than 20 employees. We have selected service businesses, professional services, and construction as our first targets. And we are looking for technical innovators within those segments. Over 90% of the metaverses are currently focused on gaming and entertainment. Our focus is the business metaverse. Voice assistants are quite limited. For us, voice is only one of the ways to interact in the metaverse. Setting up automation can be intimidating. We offer seamless, human-like experience for customers. We are the first company to offer virtual assistants in the metaverse. We've chosen web to ensure that customers will have an easy transition between Web 2 and Web 3. And also we would like to utilize what's already available in web, which may not or be available in the metaverse still. We have built a robust workflow automation engine to integrate with other systems, which we are utilizing. And our product is a no-code product. Our team has about 100 years of combined experience. Having these amazing advisors and partners, we are confident that we'll build a successful business. Next, customer discovery, marketing, and acquiring customers. We're looking to raise 500,000 to grow our customers, team, and offering. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Nelly. I'm going to kick things off with Mark. What are you thinking?
Sorry, Nelly, step back and tell me the status of the business right now and the status of the tech.
We are currently prototyping. So what you just saw, that's a screenshot. This is an alpha. This is running in production as an alpha. And our next step will be to do some beta testing with users. But basically, we've selected web for now. And similarly, as Ethan was explaining earlier, we are building our metaverse on top of Unity. What that means is that we can release it on each and every other operating system when we decide to do that, starting with web and then expanding to other OSs.
Okay, so the notion is this virtual assistant. Talk to me about the target market, and talk to me about the value proposition and sort of what you're thinking about pricing, not the specifics of the pricing, but weave in audience and target market with value prop.
Yeah, we aim to save businesses money by saving them time. And we are doing that by outsourcing their busy work or work about work to our virtual assistants. So think about that the same way we currently have automated workflows, but the interaction with the customers would be via the metaverse. And that solves a few issues which we have come across. People are still finding it difficult to technical to set up an automated workflow. And also there is this notion of the negative connotation of bots taking over our jobs. So this is something else which we are trying to avoid by providing human-like, real-world-like experience to customers.
And how many people are in the company right now?
Right now, full-time, it is me, the advisors, our awesome advisors, which I showed you,
right.
And a few contractors.
Okay.
A couple of contractors.
And you're trying to raise $500,000 basically to get a prototype, or actually to get something that's ready for the market?
We are trying to build 3 use cases to test them with customers and to ensure that they work and people are happy about them. And this will run us for the next 6 months. We're thinking of hiring 2 software developers and a couple of marketing specialists.
And then just finally, before I let Will and Rajesh talk or ask questions, think a little bit about competition. I mean, there's a lot being done in voice assistants and a lot in virtual assistants and so on. I understand you said you're the first in the metaverse, but don't you anticipate a lot of competition in this space? Yes,
I do. We believe that our first mover advantage will help us at the beginning, but we need to make sure that we keep up providing more features and making sure that we listen to our customers and doing more and more integrations. What we are trying to get to at some point is to bridge between different metaverses. So right now, everyone is building their own. Wow, there is no connection or hardly any connection between the metaverses. So starting, if you think about, again, the workflow automation, connecting different web applications, we will build something similar between the metaverses.
Yeah, I think the differentiation that you just mentioned, I think that's going to be tricky, and it's hard to differentiate just on features per se. Well, look, I'm certainly interested in what you're doing, and very fun to hear from you today. I'll be anxious to watch the company grow. In any event, let me have Jasmine turn it over to the next one. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you for
Mark.
that. We have just a couple minutes to hear our feedback from Will and Rajesh to keep things on schedule. So Will, I'm going to turn it over to you. What are your thoughts?
Well, not exactly sure about the first mover advantage, since I know the engineers over at Replica.ai have actually ported their system into the Quest 2 and Horizon platforms. But that's not my question. One, I would like to really know what NFTs have to do with AI and your virtual assistants. I mean, how is that working out? I'm very curious. I saw that and I was like, I need to know, like, what's the connection here?
The connection is a crowdfunding alternative to the fundraising. So this is how we can use selling of NFTs.
So like a DAO is what you're talking about in that aspect.
Yeah, we can just raise some money by selling NFTs.
Okay, so you're pretty much not looking at it as part of the business model, just as your fundraising model. Okay, that answers a lot.
Yes, you're right.
Okay, so is this a actual AI backend, or is this actually like a choose your own adventure, click buttons, whatever, pre-sorted questions system? Because that sounds a lot like something I would call up on a 800 number or company line and just choose one for this and two for that. Is that different? What you're doing?
Right. It will be AI based, yes, and it will allow interactions via voice, via text, obviously text to voice, voice to text. Right now, for this simple prototype, it's more like a simple, first tier kind of chatbot, which, choose between these few options.
Do you have any thoughts from your engineering team about what kind of AI that you want to power? Is this OpenAI or GPT-3 based, or something along those lines?
We are still researching what exactly we'll go with.
Okay, so you're kind of still in that early stage and haven't really found the brains of the AI system, or you're okay.
Yes.
Thanks, Will.
Thank you.
We do have just time for whatever is the single burning question that you have, Rajesh. We got one question from you. What is it?
What's your exit strategy? What's your exit strategy?
I heard. Thank you for this question. We are planning to sell our company in the next 5 years, and we will be interested to see whether we can sell it to some of the big players in the market. Did I answer your question?
Good luck and congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rajesh.
Thanks, Nelly. And thanks for the demo of the Tech United, throwing that in there. I loved that. I want to see more of that later. But for now, to keep things on schedule, we're going to be hearing from Neil, and Nelly will see you at the end of the episode to recap things, okay?
Hello, thank you. Let's see if I can get my screen shared. Boop. Okay, can you see my screen? Let me bring up the deck for full screen.
Yes, we can.
There, got it, great. Okay, so looking at all the panelists, I don't see anybody wearing AR and VR glasses right now. Why not? Well, because they're crappy. We have a gigantic market that's predicated on people buying more headsets for AR and VR. There were 12.5 million sold last year. There are huge forecasts for how it's going to grow over the next couple of years, but nobody likes to wear these things for very long. They're very clunky, they're heavy. The optics are what makes them clunky and heavy. They limit the field of view. There are trade-offs between field of view and frame rate and resolution, and these are bad trade-offs that nobody's able to master getting them all at the same time, optimized. And if you need glasses, like a couple of you guys that I see there, as well as myself, then the headsets won't fit on your head. They won't work with the glasses you've got now. They don't even work with contacts the way that most people's eyesight requires. So we've rethought and created a new kind of AR and VR optics. They allow the glasses to be as thin and lightweight as normal eyeglasses. You can shift them around like normal eyeglasses, and what's called the eye box and the eye relief adjust just like they do with normal eyeglasses. So they get rid of the whole sense of nausea and headaches because everything is always in focus, no matter what your visual acuity, and it's always at infinity. So we reduce the divergence accommodation problem to minimal. We get displays right behind the lenses so that they're super bright, and I think it's the only way you could possibly do AR in broad daylight with graphics that match the brightness of daylight. And it's inherently less expensive to make than what's out there now, which is really important. We just saw a webinar with the head of AR and VR at Samsung, who said that what's out there now simply cannot be ramped up to the volumes, 100 million, billion unit volumes that Samsung needs to make a real product in the marketplace, and that the other major players need to. This is what our lens looks like. It looks
Hey,
really
Neil, can I
different,
stop
right?
you for a second? We're not seeing your additional slides. We're still seeing the first slide in your PowerPoint view.
Thing. I flip back and forth, nothing happens.
Nothing's happening. You might be sharing from a different view. Right now, we're still looking at your intro slide. I just had a feeling you might be paging through.
I don't know how that.
Oh, now we see it. Now I just saw it. Now I'm looking at this headset screen.
All right, so let's see if we can do with the slide deck not expanded to the full screen. Okay, so you see that change?
Yes.
Yes? No? Yes, you did. Okay. All right. So here's what our lenses look like. It looks very different. What it is an integral imaging lens, and it's a special kind of integral imaging lens. Integral imaging was invented something like 1908, and we've combined integral imaging, which is the thing on the right-hand side, to the image of the left-hand side, which is Stanhope optics, which is little magnifiers that are always in focus. Stanhope optics date from the early 19th century. We brought together these two really ancient ideas that nobody else has put together before, and we have 12 patents so far in the United States on the concept and more on the way. So what do we do with this, okay? This presentation talks about how we figured it out, and we can get into greater depth later. The main point is this stuff really works, and you can see it demonstrated on the web with photography out of an iPhone, but I would love to actually demonstrate in person to people because you can only tell what it really looks like when you look at it. That's the problem we have with displays and cameras, right? So what's our business? Move on here. Oh, I should talk about our great team. So I have a long history developing all kinds of networking and graphic products. And Richard Muller, who co-invented this with me, is one of the most brilliant people on earth. He's an emeritus professor now at Berkeley. He's a MacArthur Fellow, Jason Breakthrough Prize winner. There's no more brilliant person inventing in our area today. I'm so lucky to be able to work with him. So what do we do with this technology as a business? We don't want to reinvent the wheel and make our own headsets. That would be crazy because there's too many other people out there already making these things. It would be almost impossible to become a major power consumer electronics on our own. We want to sell our optics into the people that are already making headsets. We have tremendous interest already from leaders in the field, and we're about to sign at least one major contract with one of the biggest. And as we get into the headsets that are out there in the field, we will provide software to work with the optics that we're selling them. We license that as an enterprise sale to those companies. And then we continue to license on applications to consumers to do all the special things that our optics make possible that other people simply can't do. And we have a ton of applications that we can do for specialized things for the military and public safety, to health applications, and so on.
Neil, you've got about 20 seconds left.
20 seconds. Let me tell you that we're asking for, let's find it. Quotes from great leaders. We're asking for $1 million right now. We have a couple of 100,000 already committed. We've raised in the past almost 500,000 from angels, as well as over 500,000 that I've put in myself from past successes that I've had in the field. So ask me some questions about us. Thank you.
Thank you for that. I will start this time with Will.
Okay. Can we go back a couple slides to your number 13 slide, please?
This one?
Okay, so you're saying that the competition's problems are all these things, or heavy, cumbersome, limited field of view. What's your field of view, FOV, on these?
The field of view is totally dependent on, you mean this one? Maybe, I don't know. Field of view is totally dependent on the display that's behind the lens. If we have a big enough display, we can do 180 field of view. And we don't need a curved display. We use the normal flat displays that our lens sits in front of, and it's totally software aligned and easy to manufacture. So right now, we've got a 1 centimeter wide Sony display that we've been prototyping on. And out of a 1 centimeter wide display, we get approximately 90-degree field of view, which is wider than anybody else can do.
Well, it's not entirely true. I know Cura Technologies and their gallium headset, or glasses, I should say, will be out at Q4 this year and their Q2 for the developers. So how do you think your offering compares to that?
Well, you say it's not quite true. I mean, they're wider field of views than that, but not from a 1 centimeter wide display. So our technology is
not so much that. I'm talking about like from the lightweight headset, you know, all the things that you've listed on your number 13 here. How would your system compare to something like the gallium from Cura that's out this year?
I'm sorry, compared to which company?
Cura Technologies gallium, Gallia. They should be available in Q1 or Q2 for the developers and Q4 for consumers this year. So how would you, compare to the competition?
We're focus free. We are the only white light system that images directly on the retina. We know precisely where we're imaging on the retina. The only other way to do that is with a laser display, which there's some out there, but they're inherently slower, worse color quality, some other issues with laser displays. Field of view is a big issue with laser as well. I'm not familiar with all the specs of what you just talked about coming out. I'll look into it, but we're strongly patented as the only fully in focus, no matter what your visual acuity is, way to view a display.
Okay, just wanted to ask if you had any, any thoughts on competition in the industry. But go, thank you very much.
There's
for your
certainly
time.
a lot of other companies making optics for AR and VR. They're all clunkier. They're all more expensive to manufacture, and they all have compromises that we don't have.
Thank you for that. That's all I have to ask.
Competitive advantage and competitors is always a good place to start, well, especially in an industry like this and with such an emerging field. So those were great questions, and I'm going to turn it over to Rajesh.
Great, thank you, Jasmine. And Neil, congratulations, great idea. I love the idea, by the way, because I like cool glasses. So whenever Aaron Price comes in Tech United, he says, "Where is your new cool glasses?" So anything cool on that thread is very nice. So good. What I liked is, you are monetizing on IP-based model, invention, integrated imaging concept. So I don't consider you as a glass provider. I consider you as an IP license and technology provider and license provider in the world, right? Who would be your target customer? B2B, B2C, I guess it's B2B, and who would be in the B2B target customer?
All the companies that are in the large consumer electronic space with these kind of devices and now going to come out with them. So that's Samsung, Sony, HTC, Microsoft, HTC and Microsoft already have their own headsets. Samsung used to, and they will come out again with a different headset. Apple is coming out with a headset. We're talking to every company in the field and have had strong success. Our first customer is a little company based in Europe called Orca FPV. They are the quality leader in the specific application of headsets for drone racing. And we're also working together for a military contractor for the US military.
Great, thank you. And another question is, I didn't see the whole business model around it. While the idea is good, I didn't see overall financial projection. Where would you, so you have already burned $1 million, your own 500K, you raised 500K, which is still in the business, but all the new money you are asking for $1 million. So what's the valuation of your company right now? What would you do with this $1 million? What's your exit strategy? The whole financial model didn't come out clearly to me.
Yeah, so we're raising on a $10 million cap and probably convertible notes, not a priced round. And what we will do with that money is increase our ability to write software. We've proven out our technology on the displays. We're now building that into our first headsets together with Orca and probably with one of the large companies that I named. We think we'll have a contract on that soon. So we've got to write more software, continue our patenting ability, and also we can tremendously improve image capture, which goes into improving gaze tracking. We think we can do gaze tracking better than anyone is doing it right now with the very same lens that we're using for display. And so we want to prove that out in the next generation headset.
Great, thank you, Neil.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, Rajesh. Last but not least, our very last burning question of the day before we announce our winners is going to be from Mark. Mark, what are you thinking here? I could tell you had that face on. Maybe some people asked some of your questions already.
Oh, well, that's true. But just let me understand. You said you're going to sell lenses and software. You've got all IP. Selling lenses, does that mean you're actually going to manufacture lenses and sell them? Or is it better for you to just sell them?
We have our lenses contract manufactured. We're not manufacturing anything.
I understand. Well, I understand you got a contract manufacturer to do it, but my point is, isn't it better for you and don't you have better margins if you just sell the IP itself?
You know, I've been in the business of selling IP, and I've been in the business of selling IP that's actually written into chips and software, and it's a much better business to have a hard good that it's attached to.
Okay. All right. I'm good. Well done, Neil, and nice to see you again.
See you.
Well, thanks for that, Mark. I'm Neil, going to ask you if you can stop sharing your screen, and I'm going to ask Ethan and Nellie to pop on so that we can wrap things up here. I am asking everybody to get started. I'm going to launch for the audience tuning in our poll for audience choice winner. We've got just a couple minutes before the episode ends, and while I'm aggregating the results here, I want to take a second to recognize that obviously this is, which I said at the beginning of the show, I've learned a lot in these 56 minutes. It's been incredible to hear everyone's perspective and common tools, different tools, all these new markets I never knew about, new products. Like it's been really interesting for me. And I know that the metaverse, like some of you mentioned, is an extremely rapidly growing market with changes and new developments, if not every day, every hour. So I really want to appreciate you, like, this conversation. And I know that when we look back on this in probably 6 months, it'll seem super dated, and probably what all of us are doing will have changed a little bit. But I want to take a second because Will's just been hitting us with like this incredibly detailed information. He knows every product and every like system and a ton of incredible information. Will, you're the newest member to our community. A lot of these other folks are friendlier faces. Will you give us just like the 1 minute extra background on you and what you see the metaverse looking like in 6 months and in a year? I'm very curious.
6 months and a year. That's a short term. You know, we're supposed to be talking about worldwide and global here. So when I wrote the
I'll take
definition,
any perspective.
okay, so when I wrote the definition for IEEE, I realized it can't be a single world because nobody should control everything. So it's now an ecosystem of virtual worlds and technologies that come together to support the spatial computing platform globally. That's going to take a lot of things, even down to your Tesla car, because it scans everything around you. So that kind of data is very useful to the metaverse. IoT systems all plugged into it. That's part of the metaverse too. Just how the spatial computing platforms come together and how they interoperate is what's going to be useful. As for a 1 minute background, I've been in this industry for about 30 years. I started with the Metaverse Roadmap back in 2007. Prior to that, I was working with another company in Active Worlds and even Worlds Inc. back in granddaddy days. And I literally just talked with Tom Kidron yesterday. So we go back way back. From there, I went through Solipsis Decentralized Metaverse with INRIA, helped them out in defining the metaverse. And then from there, I went to IEEE. And we helped define the current state of the metaverse. And then I wrote a research paper for ACM with Loyola Marymount University on the past, present, and future of the metaverse. So that's pretty much my accolades. In between, I've worked with Atari, I've worked with NASA, I've worked with JPL and Raytheon and the United States Navy for high-end projects such as Delos. So I've been around the world, I've been all over the place. You know, I've been in the room for a lot of interesting things, from Journey to Mars to polymorphic data.
Wow.
There's my background.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate it, because I think it means a lot more hearing it now after hearing these 3 pitches and having this dialogue than I think it would have meant to me maybe an hour ago. So I appreciate that background. You've been doing incredible work. I'm excited to see what you do next and what everybody on the call does next in the metaverse and how this continues to change our lives. We've got 1 minute to go, and the results are in by a narrow margin. Today's winner of the Audience Choice Award is Agora World. Ethan, congratulations. You're all doing incredible work. Applause, notes in the chat, whatever people want to do. You're doing incredible work, all 3 of you. Mark, Will, Rajesh, thank you so much for joining us today and peppering us with incredible knowledge and questions as always. Really appreciate everybody joining us today. The next episode will be on climate tech on June 16th. This recording, like I mentioned, will be on our Startup Showdown website by the end of the week in case you want to share it, tune back in, or just take some notes, which I might do. So we'll leave you all to the rest of your day. Thank you so much again for joining us. And if you need anything else, you know, techunited.co, where to find us. Thanks,
Great.
everybody. Congrats again, Agora.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Very nicely done, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
great
you.
job.